I think.
Live-ish.
We're doing a test run. Can everyone hear me?
Semi-alive.
Yeah, Steve, I hear you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. We're going live now.
Okay, well, it is just 7 o'clock, so I'm going to welcome us all to the July 9th meeting of the Yellow Springs Board of Education. We are meeting once again remotely under the guidelines as set forth by the Attorney General of Ohio back in March, when we all started to have these meetings this way. We hope someday to be back in the room together. We appreciate that this is not the ideal way to meet, but I do want to reassure, especially Carol, if you're out there, I think everybody's wearing pants. So I think, you know, not to worry about that in this remote format. I want to remind everybody that we have a community comments section, as we always do in our monthly board meetings, but in order to access that, you have to be on the YouTube channel and you have to type in those comments on that function. So please, if you would like to contribute to the meeting, do so. Stephanie will pick those up and then read them into the record at that point in our agenda. So with that out of the way, I'm going to ask Tammy if she'll the roll, please.
Khan.
Here.
Merhemic. Ellison. McQueen.
Here.
Turner.
Okay, thank you for that. We are light this evening because of obligations that our other board members could not get out of. So the first item on our agenda tonight is the approval of the minutes, and I think actually we have two sets of minutes, one from the regular meeting, one from the special meeting we had in June. Do I have a motion for that, please?
I'll motion 3. I think we have to approve.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
all I was
Yeah.
going to say. There's 3 minutes.
3. Sorry about that. Yeah. 3.
So I'll motion for.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll second.
Any corrections or edits, additions, subtractions on that?
Nope.
Call the roll, please, Tammy.
Khan.
Yes.
Merhemic.
Yes.
McQueen.
Yes.
Thank you for that. We'll go to agenda communications and I don't know that we have any communications to the board this month. I'm double checking with Stephanie, but I do not believe we received any checked. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That is correct.
Okay, so we'll move on to 2.2, community comments. And Stephanie, again, I'm looking to you. Do we have any comments from community members?
Nothing in advance. There's
Okay.
a little bit of a delay. So I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
we are
give it a minute.
lagging, I'm noticing. Yep.
Yeah. Let's see, and it looks like it's on YouTube now. It's your community comment, but I do not see any yet.
Okay. Well, again, this is less than ideal, but I'll just take this opportunity to encourage anybody who would like to communicate with board to do so. We're always available through email or on the phone if you have concerns or comments that you want to make, since, again, we can't do that quite in the way that we usually do in a public meeting. So hearing none under 2.2, let's move to item number 3, the financial report from Tammy.
First of all, I have to apologize. I don't have anything written for you yet. We were in the middle of closing the fiscal year, and our payroll and our accounting went down for the July 4th weekend, and then was down most of Monday. So I'm just a little bit late in getting that to you. Once I get that prepared, I will email it to you. But I do have a short verbal report regarding the general fund as of the end of June 30th of 2020. We started the year with a little bit over $5 million, and we ended the year with a little bit over $5 million. So right now, we ended fiscal year 20, $2,324.63 more than we began the fiscal year with. And that concludes my report.
Well, thank you for that. And that is the right way to go out on a $200+ thousand in the black. Thank you for that, and bravo for your management that we started the fiscal year. I think that's wonderful. Any questions? And again, yes, just to reiterate what Tammy said, the larger systems were down at the beginning of the month, which means we don't yet have that written report. But does anybody have questions for Tammy about her quick verbal report under 3.1? Okay, so I want to move to the consent calendar, the financial portion of our consent calendar. Welcome, TJ. And this is items 4.1 through 4.2. Do I have a motion for that, please?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Discussion of any of this, please.
I'll start. And 4.1 has the OPC negotiated agreement, and that pretty much aligns with the teachers agreement. Terry, do you want to make any comments?
I just want to say, like the YSEA, I want to thank our OPC unit for being cooperative and collaborative, and it was maybe one of the fastest I've been through. So I think it's a statement to the fact that everybody's working together, and
wonderful,
greatly appreciated.
Great. I just want to note, if other people didn't see that our new Mills Lawn principal, Michelle Persons, has joined us at this meeting. She's not officially yet in the saddle, but thank you so much for joining us, and welcome, Michelle.
Hi, guys.
Anything? Lovely to see you or hear you or whatever it is we do now virtually. Tammy, is there anything to add under 4.2?
Under 4.2, we're just returning the advances that the board approved at the end of June.
Great. Questions about any of this? The OPC contract or the advances?
Now, I guess I'd just like to verbalize my appreciation to our administrative staff and to OPC also for getting this done. And everybody, both last month and this month, have seemed really eager to really collaborate and get the discussion underway and resolved. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, hear, hear. Thank you, Terry, for that reminder as well. Okay, well, let's call the roll on 4.1 through 4.2, please.
Khan.
Yes.
Nurhemic.
Yes.
McQueen.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Excellent. So now we'll go to item 5 on the agenda, and that's the superintendent's report. Terry? what updates do you have for us? Has anything been going on? It seems like nothing much has been happening.
It's pretty calm and I'm bored. So what does that tell you? No, I can't. I don't know if I'm coming or going, but I'm actually going to work a little bit backwards from the order in my report. Well, I'm going to do number one. So we're required to do a semi-annual bullying report. So this is the second one. There are just 5 incidents, all at, I think one at 7th grade, one 11th, and the rest maybe 10th, from January and mid-February. Jack does a nice job with his team on really working with students so that we can change the culture around bullying and harassment. But this is a legal requirement of every school district in Ohio. The second, I want to talk about our book study of Ibram X. Kendi's How to Be an Anti-Racist. So when I put out the call to district staff about who wanted to participate, I got almost 50 responses. So I purchased books. I have about 5 left, but that's actually because some folks said, hey, I was so anxious, I went ahead and got it on my own. So if folks still want to participate, that's great. We are going to, I sent out a schedule. So the way it's going to work is we're going to have a Zoom meeting based upon, I don't have it in front of me, X number of chapters. And then after that, for the next set of chapters, in district, we utilize a platform called Slack. And so it allows us to anytime post questions and people can respond at any time, and that will help us dialogue kind of asynchronously about the book. And then we have a final Zoom meeting about the last 3 chapters of the book. I believe that's on maybe August 5th. So if anybody is still interested in doing that, and I think that will be great. It's the start of our critical and important work around race and culture, nationally, statewide, and certainly locally right here in Yellow Springs. The next item is a raise your hand item. In the conference room at Mills Lawn is a plaque that celebrates the district's 62nd straight year of Ohio School Board's membership. So that's an excellent thing. And as you all know, the OSBA provides a variety of supports for public schools, and it is a huge advocate for public education. So that's something to celebrate. That is not in my written report, so I apologize about that. Another thing not in my written report is an update on the education district. Some people are referring to it as the education corridor, but I think about it as the education district collaborative grant. So the Yellow Springs Community Foundation awarded the district in partnership with the Development Corporation, Antioch College, the Children's Center, and Agraria. But the primary players are really the schools and Antioch. A collaborative grant to explore the possibility, and I want to emphasize that, explore the possibility is nothing more than that, about locating our facilities on Antioch property that they are interested in divesting of. Now, as you know, we've talked all year about our facility needs, and I think the reason this is exciting for us as a possibility is that it provides some opportunities to be collaborative in programming, but I think most importantly right now, it perhaps allows us to address our facility needs at a cost less than what we might have anticipated, because it will allow us to then do something else with the property we own. Again, explore possibilities. I can't emphasize that enough. So board, we will continue to talk about that, quite possibly in a work session. So I just want you to be aware of that. And then finally, my last update, and it's a small one. It's what are we going to do in the fall? You know, I sent a letter out last week to parents about our reentry into the school year. We are going back as of right now, and that would be 7/16 on July 9th. The plan is to go back face-to-face 5 days a week. And I emphasize the time and date in jest, but seriously, as you know, this guidance is changing all the time. I tell everybody I wake up every morning expecting the sky to have fallen because it's just moving so fast. But right now, the guidance from the governor is the expectation that schools open. So we are planning that. There's a group of about, I want to say maybe 25 staff members from both Mills Lawn and the middle school, high school, who've been engaging with Michelle and Jack and I about just what does this look like. So there are two parts to our plan. There's the health and safety requirements and how specifically Yellow Springs is going to meet them. And then there's the academic piece, and it's when we come back to school, how is that going to look different? And it needs to look different because we need to be able to pivot on a dime out of school should the need arise because of health and safety conditions. And so, you know, I think we're very close to having our health and safety piece finished, and we've already moved into the academic piece. So my goal is to create a Google site that will be continuously updated for parents and staff to access. I did ask in the letter I sent last week, I did ask parents to just identify, hey, if you have a child who is health vulnerable or there's another issue and you want online instruction, please let me know. We have had some of those requests coming in, and Donna's doing a great job of managing that and taking the lead in that. But, you know, I think things are so fluid right now. I feel like I know where we're going, but I would be lying to you if I felt confident about what's going to happen. And I don't know that anybody can say that, but that's kind of where we are. I mentioned a work session. I would like to present, once we have our plan, I would like to sit down with the board and go over it completely so that you know what we are asking of our families. Our first priority, though, is the safety of our students and the safety of our staff, our teachers. So we have to use those that lens, the safety lens first as we approach everything else. So I don't know if you have any questions about any of that.
Terry, could you've hinted that we should discuss this more fully in a work session. Do you have any sense of when that might happen?
I think I will be ready after next week to really have something pretty well fleshed out that we can really sit and talk about.
So we would be talking about the second half of this month, perhaps, and maybe there's an advantage even to thinking about it a little bit later, just given the fluidity of the situation.
Right.
Okay.
I would like, when we do that work session, I would like Jack and Michelle and Donna to be present. And I know Michelle will be out the last week of July, I believe. So anyway, but yeah, and I think if we push it out just a little bit, I can anticipate or react to changes that might come. So that would be great.
TJ?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, thank you, Terry. I appreciate the letter that went out to parents. As a parent of 3 students out there, I can understand the incredible pressure you're under to tell us what's going to happen, and everybody wants to have some certainty, and it's just not there. It's going to be hard, but I appreciate you putting out the word, the thoughts of what the district are right now, with the knowledge that things could change quite dramatically. But I think it's important to keep that transparency up and keep talking and letting people know where we're thinking right now. So again, I just appreciate you going to the district like that, and to especially all the parents, and letting us know what was up. So thanks.
All right, thank you.
Can I also ask a tangentially related question? Has the state association, athletic association, made any decisions or announcements about fall sports? I assume everybody saw in the paper today a growing number of colleges and universities are canceling fall seasons. I just wonder if we've heard anything from our athletic association.
That would be no. Yeah, I don't know. I will say that for what it's worth, internally, there's been some shakeup in the leadership at OHSAA just this past week. I don't know why, but I imagine that might impact their communication schedule a little bit. But we've had no real updates.
Aida?
Yeah, I don't have anything in particular about the restart. I did want to go back to the education district piece when we're ready to do that. Is that okay? Go ahead. So appreciate the notion of exploring the possibility. I guess I just want to say that maybe re-explore the possibility, because we did do this. And so I'll be very curious to see, and very happy that we are going to reconnect with the college and see what's possible. I'm assuming that they're offering something else or something different that we weren't entertaining previously. But I just wanted to, say that, and also see if there was anything you might add to that, Terry.
No, I thank you for reminding me of that. Again, I hope I've been transparent, because that's been my goal. But, this is, as I said, there's a lot of promise and possibility. But I think for me, it's how do I get the facilities that my students and children deserve, and that I think is right for the village, and that will serve everyone well, not just the schools, but in the best way for all residents in terms of affordability. So, and this may be an option to explore things that we either didn't explore in this manner in the past, or other things have changed in the meantime and will allow us to move forward.
I also want to add that Terry and I think very just offhandedly suggested that this might be the second item on the agenda for a work session. That the first agenda item would be the going back plan, but that it would be good to have a board discussion in a work session of exactly what this exploration looks like in its first phase, and have a sort of back and forth about that. So I'd like us all. The grant was, I think, awarded officially last Friday. So we only just found out about it a few days ago that the Community Foundation awarded this grant. So I think it would be good for the board to sit down and really discuss it more thoroughly. Anything else for Terry?
Yeah, real quick. I raised my hand because I'd like that book if there's an opportunity to get one. And also, Terry, with what you were saying about the difficulties of what's happening this fall, just wait until my Career Center report. It'll definitely back up just about everything you've been saying.
So first, Steve, there's a copy for you in my office. Everybody knows where they are. So you feel free to stop by and get one. Second, that reminds me, tomorrow morning I have another superintendent meeting at the ESC, where we are meeting with, again, some more folks from Greene County Public Health, because as you know, all of the districts put out a joint plan, and even though we put that out, as you can see, individual districts' plans, they all look different. For example, without question, and I'm going to say this maybe with a few exceptions based upon some certain very specific conditions, if you're in yellow, wear a mask. Because what we're trying to do is follow the science, and the science says when you wear a mask, it really helps mitigate the virus. But tomorrow we want to, as we pushed out the joint statement, and then each district was developing a plan, we kept coming up with additional questions, and I have some myself. So I hope I get some more clarity tomorrow that will help us build our plan.
Anything else for the superintendent's update? Well, thank you for all of this, Terry. Yeah, not the summer any of us were hoping for, but yeah, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'd like to now move on to the administrative portion of our consent calendar. That's item 6 in the agenda, and this is 6.1 through 6.11. Do I have a motion for that, please?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion of these items. This is a lot of the usual kinds of things we do at this time of year. Terry and/or Tammy, anything we need to know about any of this?
I just want to point out some things that may be a bit different. The ones that are regular, I'll pass over unless you have questions. You're going to approve 3 handbooks. This is the natural time for that. However, I will say, as we do our back to school plan based upon the pandemic, what we describe in our safety procedures will be addendums to the student handbooks. So I will bring that back. And once we meet in our work session, we are required, board, to have a policy on face masks. So we will do that. The calendar change, we talked about that last month. I just need to put it on for the second month, and that was to push the student start date back by a week. The association has been working to get PD in their non-contract hours on the new literacy curriculum, as well as giving a considerable amount of time to work on our reentry plan. And in most districts, that's they're compensated through something called the curriculum rate. It's just an hourly rate. But we did not have one in our contract, so I pushed for that, and that's the MOU, because I want to, they give a lot of time, and I want to make sure that we're okay there. Lunchroom contract is standard. And I think that's it. Remote learning plan, we have to just submit a form. It's a checkbox that says to ODE, yes, we will be utilizing a remote learning plan for 2020, 2021. We're not penalized if we don't, but in order to do it, we have to submit that. So that's on for your approval. I've done that. I have the response back from them, but just so you're aware of that. And then always for honors and gifts and thank yous, we had a donation of math manipulatives from my neighbor Saba. So I want to thank her so much for her generosity.
Great. Any questions or comments about any of those items? As I said, all pretty standard this time of the year stuff. I'm not seeing anybody popping their hands up, so call the roll, please.
Mayor Hemick,
Yes.
McQueen,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Khan,
Yes. Okay, very good. So now we'll move on to item 7, the personnel portion of the consent calendar. And this is just one item, 7.1. A motion for that, please.
So moved.
Second.
Very good. Discussion of that?
No, this is again standard. I just ask that you approve the personnel schedules as attached.
Okay, so let's go ahead and call the roll on that.
McQueen,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Khan,
Yes.
Mayor Hemick.
Yes.
Okay, terrific. And thank you for putting all of those items together. And that takes us out of the items we need to vote on and to the last section of our agenda, number 8, our communications. And we've already gotten a teaser from Mr. McQueen about his Greene County Career Center report. So take it away, Steve.
Sorry. So in our meeting yesterday, which we have been meeting in person, just in a very large room, and we each have our own table. We wear masks. It's working out. You do have to speak a lot louder, but it has been working out. We had a ribbon cutting at the airport. They built the hangar that is based off of the new school that's happening, that was built, and that move is still quite important. It looks like they're already starting to move stuff in, and it is large enough to do social distancing. However, David sort of had a very candid and nice discussion on just the difficulties of the Career Center, because each school district gets to choose how they want to go about handling the pandemic. And so basically leading to, and I'm just naming schools, I'm not saying that these schools are doing this, but let's just say Cedarville and Bellbrook have a no mask policy in which it's optional. And Yellow Springs and Beaver Creek absolutely are mandatory. The school has to allow whatever that district does, but the real question is, are those students going to be comfortable together? There's automatically this massive, can we get the schools to work together? It's something as simple as that, let alone if they don't, how the Career Center is going to be able to handle that. Transportation, say numbers spike in one place. If that district closes, the students are still able to go to the Career Center, but there'd be no transportation. What would that look like? And then also, excuse me, each department is so much together that they feel like that would be their way of quarantining. If something were to, say, show up at one school, the only way they'd be able to really stop it is to let sort of each department, so like the kitchen here, computer engineering here, TV, and basically they would quarantine amongst themselves throughout the entire thing, still trying to figure out how that works, even though they have to switch classes like every other school. So there's just so much, along with the fact that it's a brand new building. All the students are going to be getting lost, trying to figure out where they're going, professors and teachers as well. So there's all of that to think about. And of course, their labs. There's no virtual way to learn how to do electrical work or cook. There's just no virtual way to actually do that. So, our question was, did we want it virtual or not? Of course, it's like they had, they'll want to show up. The teachers are ready, but how do we go about actually making this work as best as we can with the concept of a pandemic happening? It's there's Terry, yeah, like understand exactly some of what's on your plate, and then having a bunch of other schools have to work out how this one career center is going to go about doing their business is complicated, to say the least. And so we're excited about the building, the new place. It's going to be fantastic. But this pandemic is going to make things start very slow, to say the least. And but where people are moving in, we're building the street that lines up to it. Like it's just about done by August. By the end of August, we should be able to start doing actual tours for us. The public will have their tour in September.
Amazing. It didn't even occur to me that Dave's got to juggle 7 districts policies on all of this as these kids funnel in every day. Just because things weren't complicated enough.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Steve. Are there any other board member announcements or items here in this hot, lazy summer?
I'm just looking forward to meeting together sometime, and hopefully sometime soon.
Yeah, here. TJ?
Yeah, I just wanted to apologize for coming in late. I was struggling with trying to get this computer onto a new Wi-Fi network, so it's only my fault I didn't prep enough time there.
Not a problem. We were having glitches at the beginning anyway. We were having some noise feedback and whatnot. Anything else?
Yeah,
go ahead.
real quick. I had a parent sort of ask me, and I didn't really know exactly how to answer this. But the Bryant Center and after school, they're still not open. And the question is, would they be opened by the time school begins? And if not, there are kids that sort of utilize it as a must. And there's been a couple of parents who've been asking, what about those kids? And what's how are we going to address sort of what happens after school, and what maybe we could do, or if there's a way to somehow make that work. They were asking me, and I was like, you know what, I'll bring that up to the board and find out if there's any way. And it's not under us. I let them know that, but I was like, it's a good question. I'm not really sure about their schedule, but I do know that they're not doing anything as of yet. And if we could find out about that, there are some parents kind of worried about what will happen with their kids after school in August, September.
Thank you, Steve, for that question. I'll have Stephanie make a note of it, and we'll reach out to Florence Randolph and Sergeant Watson just to see. And then once we get closer and see what's going on, I think we can have additional discussions.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I wonder whether when we set the work session to discuss our back to school plan, whether some kind of an aftercare discussion, and maybe invite 1 or 2 of the people from the village into that, just so that I don't know where that might go, but maybe that would be worth thinking about. Any other board member items? Well then, I'd like to hear a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
I'll second.
Very good. And Tammy, if you'd call the roll on that, please.
Turner,
Yes.
Khan,
Yes.
Mayor Hemick,
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Well, thank you all very much for this. I want to thank Donna and Jack and Michelle as well for taking some time out of their summer to join us at this meeting. And Thomas, once again, thank you for dealing with all of the technology that makes this virtual meeting possible. Yeah, and so everybody stay cool and stay safe, and we'll meet again soon and talk soon. Be well.
Goodbye.
See you, everybody.
Bye.
Wow.